What's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all having a beautiful day so far. So today, well, for the past few days I felt really inspired to do a different kind of a video. If you followed me a few years ago, I have a vlog channel which I no longer use because I can't for the life of me remember the password or the email that I used to sign up. But anyway, a few years ago I used to make videos on that channel where I would literally just sit down and just talk about what was going on emotionally and mentally with me, and through that I shared, they were just like very vulnerable, raw, real videos with like topics about healing, about practices that I was doing, mental health, like just real chats that like I have with my friends and with my therapist at the time. Really fun. And I loved making those videos because this is like my favorite thing to do in life. I love researching and trying out different like healing modalities. I love talking about it, like, oh my god, please tell me about your problems and let me just listen and like give you suggestions of what you could try. Like that's, I just love it. And so because of the current situation, I feel like I was forced to be by myself and kind of retreat, and I've just like felt so connected with myself, which I haven't felt like really deeply in a long time, because before all this happened I was like the busiest that I've ever been. I had so many projects and I just was stuck. I felt like I was in that hamster wheel of like chasing success and goals and stuff like that. There's nothing wrong with that, but I just at some point stopped and I was like, wow, I've been going the completely opposite direction of like what I feel like my soul or like deep down I want. And I had to like really just be honest with myself and just change directions, and that happens, like that's happened to me quite a few times in my life, and I let myself explore different paths and try not to like put myself down for doing that, because obviously with like changing paths you're gonna let some people down, you're gonna say no to certain things, you're gonna cancel certain projects and things, and it can be challenging, but I've always just been so grateful that no matter what, I always follow my heart and I always get back to what I feel like is the right path. But yeah, because of the current situation, I've just been spending a lot of time by myself and just really reconnecting with myself on a really deep level. I've been doing so much like inner child therapy, which I've spoken about so many times already, so I feel like most of you guys probably know what it is. It's pretty popular, like a lot of therapists, psychologists, psychiatrists use it, but also it's like super popular in the self-healing or alternative healing modalities. And it's just this beautiful practice where you reconnect with your inner child, so you when you were a child, and that basically represents that vulnerable, raw part of you, your emotions, like that deep part that we kind of hide and protect, and you're able to reparent yourself. You're able to show yourself love and give yourself the things that you were never given and was lacking basically. And so that's been like just such a beautiful practice that I've been doing for a really long time. I feel like my whole healing journey started with that. Like I found out about it when my therapist asked me to bring a few pictures of me as a child, because I had no compassion for myself, and I've shared this story quite a few times, but I had no compassion for myself. I thought everything was my fault. So my therapist was brilliant and she told me to bring a few pictures that resonated with me when I was a child, and I really recommend you do this if you, I don't know, feel called to do so. So I brought a few pictures in and we were talking about my experiences, you know, when I was younger and certain traumas and things that I went through as a child. I was looking at those pictures and I just started like bawling my eyes out, because I saw these pictures of me as this innocent child that was like 3 or 4 years old, that, you know, looked really cute to me, or whatever the reason why I chose those pictures. And I just made the connection in my mind, like, that those things that happened to me, they're not just stories, like they actually did happen and had like real consequences for this little child that's innocent and didn't deserve any of it. And then the next step was like figuring out that everything that I'm doing to myself that's destructive, because at that time I was just harming myself in literally any way that I could find. I was really deeply suicidal. I would walk on certain paths that like could very easily have killed me. I would use substances. I was self-harming. Like, I just was doing all sorts of just abusive things to myself, and somewhere I thought I deserved it. And so when I made the connection that everything that I'm doing to myself now, I'm doing to that inner child, to that child that I saw in those photos, it just like, it changed everything. And I just feel so much more grounded and so much more like peaceful. And I didn't used to be that way. Like, I was all over the place. I was really cold. I had so many walls up, and me really being understanding and compassionate towards myself has brought that out. I feel so like deeply like I'm at home in this body, in my mind, like that it's a safe place for me to be here and experience anything that I need to experience, and choose myself every time, like even when it's really, really freaking difficult. And through my healing journey, I've gone through so many different phases. Like, I was stuck in like victim mentality for a really long time, because when you finally feel that compassion towards yourself for the first time, when before all you could see was like blame and criticism towards yourself, all of a sudden you're just angry at the whole freaking world, and like, why did this happen to me? Why did these people do those things? And I felt sorry for myself, like, and that became my story that I would tell myself all the time, and it justified a lot of behaviors for me and a lot of things that weren't probably healthy for me, because I had this story, and like that became my identity. And that's not the healthiest thing to do, because I didn't feel empowered. Like, I didn't feel like, oh, that was my experience, and it taught me so much. I learned so much from it, and now because of it I am this person and I get to do those things. And you know, I didn't feel that way. I was just stuck in that like hurt and that victim mentality that I didn't feel empowered. And then at some point I was stuck in this I need to fix myself phase, which was also not the best, because I was just like, I used healing and like self-care as a way to fix myself, change myself, because I felt like certain parts of me weren't okay, they weren't acceptable, because they were never loved. I just like kept ramming through and wanting to like fix myself, and I need to change this, and I need to do that, and I need to stop doing this, and like it was just all sorts of bad. But you know, all those points of my healing journey have taught me so much, and I'm so grateful for every single one. But anyway, my point and like my biggest lesson through this whole healing journey so far is that your self-love and healing and expansion, you feeling better about yourself and your life and the world, doesn't come from you trying to fix yourself, doesn't come from this space of I need to change myself, because that is saying, that's basically you saying to yourself, who I am right now is not okay, is not lovable. I need to change these parts so that I can be loved. And that's like at the core, that's self-hatred. It took me a really long time to understand this and to really figure out mentally first, but then actually experience that self-love, instead of being I need to fix this, I need to change this, is I need to see this and I need to understand it so I can send compassion and love to those parts of me that felt like they were wrong. a child's brain is not developed enough to see the whole picture. So I'm gonna give you an example. Let's say that my mom is a single parent. She's the only one providing for me, and so she has to work all the time, so I barely get to see her. And to me as a little child, I can create a story that I'm not lovable because my mom is never here, and so there must be something wrong with me because I see all these other kids that like play with their mom and spend a lot of time with her, and mine seems like she doesn't care about me, and so there must be something wrong with me. Like, that's the story. That's just one example. It can go a lot of different ways, but you know, you create these stories in your mind as a child because you can't see the full picture. Like, your brain isn't developed enough, and you just have these big feelings and they're overwhelming, and that's where a lot of trauma happens because you can't fully comprehend everything. Through that understanding, you get to bring compassion to yourself and see those parts as parts that need love the most. I feel like this is something that all of us experience. All of us have denied and suppressed and hated certain parts of ourselves. So many of us are amazing at self-criticism, or like, even if you're a perfectionist, like, that's self-criticism, you know? And we all have this, and it's like when you get to bring those parts back home, like your foundation at which you operate and like your day-to-day life, everything changes, but in such a like subtle, grounding way. It's not like you become a different person. It's so subtle, but it feels like deeply revolutionary, if that makes sense. I really love this saying, and I feel like it's so true. What you resist persists. And I've even noticed this like so much with my emotions. So let's say I'm feeling a lot of shame, and if I'm trying to just like push it to the side, not deal with it, it's too overwhelming, I don't want it, it stays and it lingers. But as soon as I view it from like a compassionate point of view and bring it love and listen to it and like be present with it and not see it as this monster, but like just something I'm experiencing and something that deserves my attention and my love, it goes away. Like, and you like transform it into love and peace. And I know all this sounds so like hippie-ish, and some of you are probably just like, oh, what the fuck is she saying? But it, like, just try it out. When you're experiencing a certain emotion that you would usually push to the side, sit with it and just be present. And I know at the beginning is scary, but try to see it as like this thing that deserves, that is like screaming for and asking for your love and for your compassion and understanding. And in that, you're gonna create so much love for yourself and so much understanding, and you're gonna become more authentic, because a lot of us have some sort of an abandonment wound. I know for me that's like one of the biggest things that I feel that really impacts my life. And so through this like self-care and self-love and self-healing, you get to give yourself the opposite of abandonment. It can be really hard to do that. Like, I am not perfect at it. I still experience different parts of myself or different emotions that I at first reject and deny and hate, like, and criticize. But then, you know, with time you start learning how to give yourself that compassion and love. And I really recommend doing inner child therapy to start with that whole process, because it really is life-changing. I'll link a few like guided inner child meditations below. You can start with those. I really want to record my own, and I really want to create like a self-healing program where I can share all these healing modalities and practices that I've done that like have proven that they work. I take this very seriously. That's why I haven't done it yet, because I've had a lot of just bad experiences with different healers and different healing modalities that I feel like brought more hurt than good. And so I take it very seriously, and that's why I also, you know, wanted to go somewhere to actually properly learn more about this. That's why I became like a certified trauma healing practitioner, because I don't want to create more harm for anyone. Like, I really want to help anyone that I can. And I feel like when you have a lot of personal experiences with that, you get to, I don't know, do a better job, hopefully. Because, you know, I've tried all these things. I know what worked for me and what didn't, and what was easy, what was super hard, like, and I just want to share that with you guys and with the world eventually when the time is right, hopefully soon. I feel like I'm a little out of practice when it comes to these videos. Like, I hope I made sense. I'm not sure at all. I hope it brought something your way, whatever that might be. And yeah, let me know what you think of these types of videos. I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions, and I don't know, if you want to see more of them, I'd be happy to do so. I love talking about this stuff. So yeah, thank you so much for listening. I will see you soon. Bye.